the last position is lying on your side. So we'll use the foam roller. It works really well with getting into the lats, the serratus posterior, inferior, serratus anterior, the outer portion of the erector spina, and the QL. So all these techniques will work on those structures. So I'm using my elbow to prop me up, and I'm moving my body up and down. So I'm moving the foam roller in segments. So right now it's just above the hip area. And then I reposition it higher. And I also could go a little bit more on my back and side to capture those muscles that we talked about. Now I get into serratus anterior, lats, rotate a little bit onto my back to capture the erectors. And then if you don't have a foam roller, you can use a can of vegetables right above the hip bone, getting into the QL. Going a little bit higher. And then I could rotate around the can of vegetables to move side to side, or physically move forward and back to get that sideways motion. And then reposition that way. Now, you can also use a softball, but before I do, if you don't have the size of the therapy ball and you have a lacrosse ball or hard ball, you could get your textbook, place it just above your hip area, and then get the hard ball right into the QL. And then you can move forward and back, up and down, and do a little bit of rotation to get different angles of that QL and the outer portion of the erectors. And then move higher, forward and back, and rotate. To continue with the softball, get into the rib portion of lats, and also another musculature that we forgot to mention are the abdominals, so the obliques, transverse abdominis, all in around the QL area and the lower ribs. And moving up and down, forward and back, reposition. Getting right into the lats right here. I'm also addressing serratus anterior. So these are the positions you could do with the ball. Now we're going to move into using specific tools to address areas in the back in a sideline position. Now I'll be working with specific tools in a sideline position, so using the end point of a wooden spoon as well as a wedge shape of a wooden spatula. I'm going to face my back towards the camera just to show you, and I'll be talking, so hopefully you could hear me. I'll be using the end point of the spoon to get right into the QL area. And you could have a towel roll underneath here. And actually, I'm going to use a can in this position. And as I lean onto the can, this will help bridge over so that my QL, it gets more exposed in a lengthened position. And then I can use the end point of the wooden spoon to work on the edge of the QL. And then I could get the wooden spatula and work on top of the hip bone for the QL, as well as the attachment of the abdominals. Moving up and down, side to side, and getting into right in the groove right here. Moving side to side, up and down. In this position as well. With the end point of the wooden spoon, you can also go right on top of the back of the hip. Up and down, side to side. And also using the wedge shape on that area as well. So these are very specific techniques that you use in a sideline position.